Good evening and welcome to the 2026 State of Community. I am Jess Saad, your Bexley City Council President. This year's State of Community is taking place in the new Brotherhood Center here at St. Charles High School. How unbelievable is this space? We are so lucky in the 43209 to have three high-quality educational institutions: St. Charles, Bexley Public Schools, and the Columbus School for Girls. Tonight you will hear from Director Jamie Lawlor, Library Director Ben Heckman, Library President Jim Wilson, Dr. Jason Fine, President of School Board Joanne Pickrell, and our Mayor Ben Kessler. I'd like to acknowledge Chief Gary Lewis, Capitol President Dr. Tice, St. Charles Head of School Jim Lauer, and Principal of St. Charles Rick I. And then, obviously, I would love to recognize my hardworking fellow council members, Monique Lamke, Troy Markham, Sam Marcelino, Alex Silverman, Danny Hurley, and Spencer Cahoon. A special shout out to all of those that are here tonight who serve on our boards, commissions, foundations, and chambers. Thank you all for your service to Bexley. Before we begin this evening, I'd like to introduce and honor Bexley School's very own Symphonia and vocal ensemble as they perform Lift Every Voice and Sing, also known as the Black National Anthem, in honor of Black History Month. Originally written as a poem, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People leader James Johnson wrote Lift Every Voice in 1900, and his brother John Johnson composed the music for the lyrics. Johnson's lyrics captured the solemn yet hopeful appeal for the liberty of Black Americans, and the song was later adopted by the NAACP and promoted during the Civil Rights Movement of the 1950s and 60s as the Black National Anthem. The Symphonia is under the direction of Stephen Spangler, and the vocal ensemble is under the direction of Amy Blosser. Please rise, if everyone could please rise, and stand for the duration of the performance if you are able, and join me in giving these amazing Bexley students a warm welcome.
Every voice and sing. Since St. Charles was founded in 1923, all of our graduates, all of our students should understand that they were all given talents by our Lord, and our job is to help them develop those. But probably more importantly is having them understand the responsibility they have to serve others. And life can be a lot of fun if you share that with a lot of people. And that's what I really think Building Better Men is all about.
No other school is like St. Charles, and I think that we have such a high standard for our students that they come out developed and prepared, having an understanding of their own identity. Being a part of a brotherhood like St. Charles can truly help give them an idea what it means to be a man.
Well, good evening, everyone. On behalf of this whole St. Charles community, it is my honor and privilege to welcome you to our campus and to our new Brotherhood Center. My name is Jamie Lawler, and I serve as the Advancement Director here at St. Charles. I would like to begin by recognizing Mayor Ben Kessler, Council President Jessica Saad, Chief Lewis, and our School Resource Officer, Jeremy Grimes. Thank you for your leadership to the Bexley community, your commitment to safety, environmental stewardship, and ensuring Bexley remains a beautiful place for generations to come. It does not go unnoticed. This fall, we welcomed 678 young men to St. Charles, our largest enrollment in our 102-year history, including a freshman class of 227. We remain firmly rooted in our founder's promise that any young man, no matter background or means, has the opportunity to take advantage of studying at St. Charles. Our students come from 62 zip codes across central Ohio, all the way from Mount Vernon to Lancaster and out to London. They bring with them experiences and perspectives that enrich both our school and the wider community. Academically, we continue to strive for excellence. And over the last decade, our students are averaged over a 28 ACT, and in the class of 25, we earned over $35 million in scholarships to colleges across the nation. We are proud of our students and their academic achievements, and equally proud of our 12 graduates in the last 15 years that have gone on to be ordained into the priesthood. Our mission has been to form young men grounded in the charisms of our patron saint, St. Charles Borromeo, of humility, mercy, and solidarity. When young men leave St. Charles, they leave prepared, not just for academic success, but as scholars, as disciples, as citizens and leaders in our communities. St. Charles has been blessed in many ways and has allowed us to provide a space to the community for events that are held here, such as Taste of Bexley or Our An Evening With. Many of you have experienced some of our courts of the campus, maybe even an event in the Walter Student Commons, which is connected right behind me. Or you've gone to a game in the Convocation Center, which opened in 2023, right next door. Or maybe it was a moment on our Walt playing field. This year, we introduced two major enhancements. One that supports that we have transformed how our students learn and collaborate, and other that supports our faith life here. The space that we are gathered in today was originally built in 1931 as a gym, and it served that purpose for more than 92 years. It was small and cramped, but it was fabulous. After 18 months of construction, it has become the Brotherhood Center, a collaborative learning space featuring a library media center, an amphitheater, which is where you're sitting, our school apparel store, our cafe, and 10 new classrooms upstairs, including a new science lab and an art room. This marks the first time since our building was opened in 1925 that we have added new classroom spaces to our campus. I encourage you to visit the Hall of History, which is right behind those glass doors, and see and explore our full campus story. We are so proud to share our most treasured enhancement this year is the renovation of our Mother of Mercy Chapel, which is located on the east side of our campus. This sacred space supports our faith formation of our students and faculty, hosting daily masses and class masses, adoration, and serving as a spiritual home for our alumni who return first to celebrate milestones, including weddings. Following tonight's program, we welcome you to join us and tour the Brotherhood Center. We have many people on our staff here tonight that can help you do that if you'd like to explore this space firsthand. My hope is that you return for future events. You continue to be part of our St. Charles community and come and see for yourself how we're building better and met. And I am pleased to welcome the Bexley Library Board President, James Wilson. James?
When I was asked to come to you this morning or this evening and introduce Ben Heckman, my first reaction was, why does Ben Heckman need to be introduced to anyone? But my second thought was that this is an opportunity on behalf of the board to thank you all for the tremendous support that this community provides to the library. Thanks to the friends of the library who are here tonight. We're proud as a board that we have one of the best libraries in the state of Ohio. We have an incredible staff. We have an incredible leadership team. And unlike, I think, just about any library in the state of Ohio, we have a director that needs no introduction. So Ben, very, he is sometimes hard to keep track of, though.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. You guys keep asking us back, and we'll keep coming. That's great. I want to thank Megan for pulling all this together and everybody at the city. It's good. Yeah, give it up. So I thought we'd start off with a quote from our guy Kurt Vonnegut about the arts being something that can make life bearable. Maybe it's the cold weather, maybe it's society, maybe it's what's going on in your life. Things may be a little difficult out there. And so the arts is something I think that can help us shake off the dust of everyday life and have us live our best life. And so it's through that lens that I want to take a look at all the great things that we have done at the library in 2025 and some fun things that we have going forward, because I'm going to start this off with saying this: you're not coming to the library enough. Look at the joy on that young man's face. When was the last time you experienced that type of joy? So come to the library. It's going to be a lot better. Come and get yourself some joy. And I want to just talk about some of the joy that we've had over the last year. And so we have taken a look at our events from the past year through the lens of what makes life worth living. A year of music. Last year we had 13 different music acts come through the library. Columbus Jazz Youth Programs with the Jazz Arts Group. We had the Capital University Music Series, which is a regular series we've had for many years. We celebrated Stevie Wonder's 75th birthday party, which was like a whole vibe. You had to be there. And then the string quartets. So come and check out the music we have going on. We have so much art at the library. Last year we had 20 art programs, along with the art displays that we have changing in our lobby and our display case. Thanks to the Bexley Community Foundation, we have, there you go, I was looking for it, there she is. We have this fabulous grant program with them called Art Builds Community, ABC. And so the artists that we have at the library come and teach courses and classes and get you guys involved in art. And so you can see some of those pictures here. And then last year we started monthly take-home craft kits. Okay, yeah, okay, craft kits. So here's our, I think this is a laser. Oh yeah, I got a laser pointer. So this was a take and go crafts. They go quickly, so you want to come and check those out. But every month we have a new craft for you to unwind with. We had a great year of growth in Bexley. Where are my gardeners tonight? There you go. The gardeners are here. We partnered with Rooted in Bexley, Love Your Alley. We had a couple plant swaps where you bring a plant and swap it. That's right. There's a diehard. With our seed library, we have our frogs down here that are growing. And last year we partnered with Hope Taft. Hope Taft started the Heritage Garden at the Governor's Mansion here in Bexley. And she had over 200 books all about gardening, the history of flowers in Ohio. And she donated those to us, and we created a special collection, the Hope Taft Heritage Garden Library, that's got over 200 books that you can come and check out at the library for your gardening needs. Very cool partnership. Don't ever, we'll have programs in the middle of the day, and like 80 gardeners will show up. Don't upset the gardeners. We also had an unbelievable year of authors. We had 19 author visits. We participated in the local author festival with Gramercy Books. We had poetry readings. We had our annual Toni Morrison celebration, and we honored a hometown favorite, R.L. Stine. We commemorated his visit with the permanent R.L. Stine Hall of Fame, which you can see here is really great. And the idea for the Hall of Fame came from this young man right here. He is the son of our librarian, Josh Bryant, and he was like, he just was reading all these Goosebump books, and he's like, you know, he learned to love books at our library, and he was like, why don't you have like a thing dedicated to him? And so then he recommended that. We started working on it, and we got a phone call that R.L. Stine was coming to town, and it all worked beautifully. So it was an honor to have him here. It was a whole great thing. And then we had Jasara Wan. We had him in September, and this past January, he won the Caldecott for award-winning youth book. So if you're keeping track, if you get invited to the Bexley Public Library, you will win big awards. Just tell your friends. And that visit in September was a partnership with the schools, so he came and did a writing workshop with students, so that was really tremendous. And of course, I'm sure many of you were there, we had a tremendous overflowed crowd of Percival Everett. It was a tremendous evening. We celebrated the library, we celebrated the literature, who also won the Pulitzer Prize after he signed a contract to come and talk to us. Let's keep track. And then in partnership with the CLC, we welcomed Rick Steves. We had over 3,000 people down at Ohio State to welcome Rick Steves. This is where the 17 libraries of Central Ohio, some of the best in the country and world, came together to share some great authors that maybe we couldn't bring on our own. Rick Steves is a true gentleman. He emailed us after this and said the energy he got from Columbus, Ohio, which that's him in the middle there, was just tremendous and was still feeding his soul. We celebrated a year of culture with our partnership with BMPA and the Bexley Community Foundation. That's two. The Bexley Celebration and Events Committee. We were able to host the AAPI Festival, which we've done now for years in our parking lot. It's really a tremendous event. We also celebrated Malcolm X's 100th birthday with some great dialogue on the important work that he has provided our culture. And then we had 300 people come to a Bluey party. So maybe that's not important for some of you, but it's very important. I love the Bluey. And then we had a great year of being in our community with incredible partnerships. We're at the farmers market with One Bexley, events like the Story Slam that we had last week, and then our Real Talk events that are ongoing, continuing at the library, the 4th of July parade. We had our first ever Women's Health and Wellness Fair, which will be coming back. That's in partnership with City Council and President Jess Saad. There he is. That's May 9th from 9 to noon, so check that out. So we had and then there we are with the governor. If your house turns 100 in Bexley, you get one of these fun signs that says, "This is a Bexley Century home." So it just so happened that the governor's house turned 100 this year. So this and so much more will arrive to your doorstep in a matter of days, because our quarterly program guide should be in your mailboxes tomorrow or the day after, giving you all this wonderful information of the stuff that we have to offer for this spring, which is a lot. Okay, so we are a great library. We have a great staff. And we are in such a wonderful community that supports what we do. We can try a bunch of things. We can explore new areas. And so we feel as though, thanks to the support from the community and our board, good, Jim's still here, that we have a duty to share with other libraries the knowledge and stuff that we've learned. So here we are presenting at the Ohio Library Conference. Here we are presenting at the Computers and Libraries Conference. That's a crazy conference. And so we presented about our streaming of our programs and how that can make programs more accessible to folks, and how people are able to attend from all over the country by streaming your programs, and how you can do it at a relatively inexpensive cost. So that was a great presentation. I was giving a talk here on leadership to library leaders up in Northeast Ohio, so that was great. So it's important to us, it's imperative we're sharing the things that we learned here in Bexley, and we can have that ripple effect into other libraries. We had to advocate for libraries like no other year that we've ever had to advocate. In 2025, book bans were rising. We had a showing of Band Together, the fight against censorship at the Drexel. There was language in the budget to restrict your access to certain materials. So we got a phone call from Channel 6 to come and talk to us about that. So we welcomed having that platform to talk about it. And then the state legislature cut library funding by $25 million across the state. So on both occasions, we put out a call to our public and our patrons, and you guys showed up. The response that we got from you with messages and emails was overwhelming. Many of you were very feisty, not towards us, thank you. And you shared with your representatives the importance of libraries and to do all that, because we think that it's super important. Because of your outreach, I think it was only $25 million that got cut. And we're now a line item in the budget, which we hadn't been before. So we will keep you aware of what is going on, but thank you for all of that. And then I want to just throw in here too, that we will always stand up for your ability to have access to what you want. You can decide what you and your families read and have access to, and we believe that you should make that decision. We respect that you can make that decision. We are going to provide the books, resources, and ideas, good, bad, or indifferent, and we respect and trust that you can make that decision, not the Ohio legislature for you. All right, now let's get back to fun stuff. Okay, numbers for 2025. We had almost 500,000 checkouts last year. That's really great. That's digital and online, or digital and in person. 19,000 attendees to nearly 600 youth programs. 9,000 people using our meeting rooms last year. 140 one-on-one meetings with librarians for them to answer any questions you have and to work with any technology you might have. And then we had 350 notary appointments. That's like one for almost every day of the year. Pretty impressive. We also had some really great projects in 2025. We made it a little easier to browse the nonfiction section. We put in some more comfortable seating right in front of the cookbooks. So if you want to cook anything and bring it in, staff loves that. So come on in and browse. And then we launched a teen newsletter. So we launched this in September. It talks to teens, what popular reading recommendations are out there, what programs we're doing specifically for teens, and it shares with them opportunities for them to come and volunteer. So that has been so well received that the Public Library Association asked our teen librarian to come and present that at the national conference this April in Minneapolis. So another awesome opportunity. More great projects. Last year we launched our inaugural Writer in Residence. So this is our hope to inspire writers in Central Ohio to hopefully one day have their work be on our shelves as books. We had 4 writing workshops. We had 2 public events. We had a really great open poetry jam. And this year's Writer in Residence is Grace Ellis, New York Times bestseller of graphic novels, plays, prose, and animation. Really great. It's in the program guide, but I'll be coming to your house. Come and check out, brush up on your writing. Bigger Than Me. Does anybody know about the Bigger Than Me project that we've been working on? Okay, really tremendous. This is a partnership with Ohio State. Bigger Than Me has kids research, interview, and write and publish books based on their family's history and culture. So they're working intergenerationally to find out from their grandparents and their parents stories about their family. And then once they produce these books, we have them pitch these books and try to sell them to different people at book fairs. So this is checks all the boxes. It's really wonderful. Ohio State has been tremendous. And this year, thanks to a partnership grant with the Bexley Women's Club, we were able to expand it and do more this year. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, we got some really great things coming up. I'm going to hit these really quick. Americans in the Holocaust. This is a documentary that Ken Burns did a few years ago. There's a wonderful exhibit at the Columbus Metropolitan Library. It's okay to go there. It's okay. We're partnering with them down at the main branch. So go and check that out. It's very cool. And then Rebecca Elberling, who's the historian and curator at the U.S. Holocaust Museum, will be here with us at our library to discuss her new book and her work with Ken Burns on the film. Very, very cool opportunity to come for that. Also streaming if you can't make it. That'll be March 12th. Then we have our summer community read kickoff. That's going to be May 29th. Dino soar into reading. Look, I did not work on that one, but that's gold. So check out for that. And then we're excited to announce, too, brand new for us, Third Thursday. Mayor, I think you're going to be into this. We got Third Thursday concerts. It's a monthly concert series with local performances by singer-songwriters hosted by Parker McDowell. Yeah, McDowell. So come to the library and hear some great singer-songwriters. Okay. It's finally begun. We've talked about it for a very long time. Largest project in library's history, the last 30 years, and we're excited and grateful for all the partnerships that help make this happen. The Bexley Community Foundation, the city, Tora Emmett, and everybody here through all of your support. You've probably seen this a bunch. I'm happy to talk to you about it afterwards. We're very excited. So yes, we're open. If you've driven by the library, you've seen the big green fence. A lot of people are like, oh, are you open? And we printed more signs to let people know that we were open. Now, the back door, which is through the parking lot, the entrance, there's a giant 75-foot ramp to welcome you. The kids are loving this ramp. Yeah. We put the ramp up, and 3 days later, we got 12 inches of snow. So if that can survive, you can handle the ramp. We hooked up an automatic door in the back. We have bike racks in the back for you to come and ride your bike. And it's been really, really great. And we put a service point in the back to greet people. And the number of people who are like, I have never been to this part of the library. It's the nonfiction section. And it's in the back. And a strange thing has been happening. All of our nonfiction books are circulating. So just by changing how they come into the building, they're checking out nonfiction books. There's hope for all of us, people. There's hope. Right now it's mud. If you have peeked over the fence, you can see it's mud. Please don't be bedeviled by that handsome gentleman here in the corner. That is just to demonstrate how much we've dug down from the door. That is the handicap button to get into the door that I'm sure you're used to. The whole front of the building is wiped clean. There's a lot of mud. And this right here, they were shooting cement up through this, which is taller than our roof, and down into the footings. So progress is happening. And I want to share a fun story. right here is the ramp line that we had. So if you notice this right here, we did not know it was there, but it says book depository. So sometime in the 80s, when they put the ramp up, they covered up the book return, and we found only one book in the book return that was covered up. But we got rid of fines in 2017, so it's all okay. So this, very cool. The guys, when they were cutting it out, said, it didn't spark, we think it's lead. So there you go. Very, very cool. All right, 2 more little projects that we have going on. If you have been into the library lately, you know that our computer or tech center is down in the basement, and we are taking a look at how to move those computers up into the browsing room. If anybody has come into the library a decade and a half ago, that's where they started out, and what is old is new again. So we're thinking about moving them back up into the browsing room to make them even more accessible. And then this is maybe the most exciting project that we started. It technically started in January. But Capital University, through their social work intern, master's and grad program, Capital, has partnered with us. So we now have a social worker on site to help us and to help folks at the library. So she has helped us. Aisha has just finished a resource binder for all types of things that people may need. She has open office hours for people that need help. And she's working with us on programs. So if you need to talk to somebody about that, you can come and visit with a social worker. And so I want to share a story about the social worker and say thank you to our incredible staff who are just amazing at what they do. I received this letter. Applause, applause, applause. This is for the social work intern, Aisha, and for Josh, for the position of the social work helper. A couple of weeks ago, Josh suggested I talk to Aisha when needing counsel about elder care. Josh listened and translated my need for assistance to Aisha, and when I met with Aisha, I was astounded by her preparations for our chat. Based on what Josh had told her, Aisha had anticipated what might be helpful to me and prepared 3 scenarios of useful information. This prep work guided our talk and gave me focus on next steps to take in my search for help. Best use of meeting time ever. Please let Aisha know how much I appreciate her abilities. I needed her brain, her training, and her guidance. Thank you for giving easy access to a knowledgeable source, someone who I could have not thought to have contacted but luckily encountered. So hopefully that is the type of stuff you will encounter when you come to the library more than you are. And so, as always, it is an honor being in your library. Thank you so much for letting me come and talk. You guys are the best. And now it's my honor to introduce the president of the Bexley City School Board, Joanne Pickrell.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening, and thank you to St. Charles for hosting us. Tonight, I have the pleasure of introducing our superintendent, Dr. Jason Fine. I am grateful that Dr. Fine is leading our district, and for the administrators and staff, some of whom are here this evening, for all the work they do to provide our students with a high-quality education. Thank you to my fellow board members, some are here this evening, Victoria Powers, Dr. Jonathan Baker, for all the work they do to support our students and the collaborative approach they take every day as a member of our board. Thank you to the Bexley Education Foundation for all the work they do to support our programs. It's very student-driven when they do grants for our programs. And thank you to the students who were here earlier. They're very busy, that's why I probably had to leave, but they did a wonderful job. This year, our students will accomplish amazing things in and out of the classroom. But tonight, I'd like to just mention 2 things that we are going to be working on as a district, and it's 2 of the many things. 3 years ago, our district completed a community-driven strategic plan, and that really helped shape our district's mission, vision, and values. But like all plans, it doesn't sit on the shelf, and it's time to revisit that plan. It's time to look back at our accomplishments, what we weren't able to accomplish, and also new programs and initiatives that we would like to pursue in the coming years that have come up since we did our last plan. In the coming weeks and months, you will see a new plan. It will build on the foundation of our previous plans, and it will focus on years 4, 5, and 6. and it will carry us through the next couple of years. Next is the strategic plan. Also included a call for our district to develop a long-term facilities plan. Modernizing our district's facilities will enhance the learning experience for our students and staff. On Monday evening, this past Monday, Dr. Fine presented his recommendations for Phase 1 of this plan. Tonight, he will focus some of his remarks on this long-term facilities plan, specifically Phase 1. Thank you to the community members, students, staff, and alumni who participated in that facilities planning process and provided feedback on our plan. When the district starts Phase 1 and the design phase for Phase 1, we hope the community remains engaged and provides us with feedback. I will now turn it over to Dr. Fine.
Well, I didn't bring any props. And I was supposed to speak before Ben. And I'm convinced, I got an email today that said, hey, we switched up the order. The mayor, I'm thinking, is behind that because he didn't want to follow Ben. But here we are. And a huge thank you to Joanne Pickerel. I'm going to talk about my board here in a second, but a huge thank you to St. Charles. This is amazing space. Let's give it up for St. Charles. I love entering buildings that aren't in my own district and seeing what's possible, seeing how you use space, how it's flexible and adaptable. Really important, and we appreciate your generosity in giving us. We know your staff has had a long day as well. I also want to thank the city. I think you all know that we had quite a snowstorm not long ago, and I want to be crystal clear. We were able to open our schools 2 days before anyone else in Central Ohio because of the collaboration and the cooperation and the partnership with our district team, but most importantly with that city team. That is one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen. I am so thankful. Ben, Andy Bayshore, the entire city, let's give it up. It is critical that students have a routine, and it's critical that they're in school, and we have students that need to be in school. And the work of the city and that partnership, it's nothing I've ever seen. And other districts were reeling because they didn't have the ability. And you, as community members, shoveled and helped your neighbors, and we were able to open. So a huge thank you. Also want to thank a ton of people. I see Chief is in the space. Megan, well done on pulling this off. Our city council members, we appreciate you. Brian Drury's in the space. Ben Heckman, Dr. Tice from Capital University. So many more. I wish I'd had a slide of all of our partners. We do not do this without the help of you. Our Bexley Education Foundation, Pam is in the space, was in the space. It's what sets us apart from other districts. So we're so thankful for everybody. When I talk about partnerships, what cannot happen with the success of our students and our staff is strictly because of our Board of Education. It is not easy to be a Board of Education member. They've heard me talk about this. We've got Victoria, Dr. Baker, obviously Joanne, Patrick King, Mike Carter couldn't be here this evening. We are not the district we are without their support, and I'm so thankful. Nobody knows what it's like until you sit in the chair, but I'm thankful that they're in the chair, and I'm thankful that they're willing to take some really tough conversations to make us better. I want to also talk about, Joanne talked about our strategic plan. I'm really proud of the strategic plan. That is a community-driven plan, as Joanne talked about. That was created 4 years ago. We're in year 3 of 3. It took us a year to develop, community-wide. And one of the things we're most proud of is our mission, vision, and our values. You can see our mission on the screen there. Learn with curiosity, demonstrate kindness, and embrace equity. I think it's a unique mission. Other districts call us and say, how did you do that? How did you get that language in there? What does it mean on a day-to-day basis? And we're really proud of that. It makes up who we are. It is our DNA. It is what we expect of our students. It is what we expect of our staff, and we're thankful to have a board that supports that type of work. Our academic excellence, you all have in front of you. You had the opportunity to grab some things off of the table. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. We want you to take a look at our quality profile. A quality profile is designed by schools to make sure that you see the rest of the story. We typically read in the dispatch how we did on a test score on a given day. The quality profile tells you the rest of it. And so you have access to that, but you see the great tradition of excellence that we have here in Bexley. And I couldn't be more honored to serve as the superintendent of Bexley City Schools. But what makes our community special are the people. We have, I call it the trifecta of success. We have the most incredible students. They show up ready to learn, wanting to learn, ready to soak up like a sponge what's being handed to them. And we have incredible staff members, the best in the business. And we've got a bunch of them here tonight, so a huge thank you. It's been a long day for them as well. And the third piece of that is our families and our community members. We cannot be successful without that, those three components working together. So we're so thankful, and we're proud of our academic excellence. But there is more to the story, and it's the opportunities. And it's what you saw tonight. So by show of hand, did you have a child that performed tonight or a relative? Raise your hand if one of you had. There we go. Some people. We have incredible students that have a lot on their plate. And one of my favorite stats is up here. 80% of our middle school and high school students participate in an extracurricular activity. That's incredible. And I guarantee you, I've not done the numbers because it changes every year, but of that 80%, I bet you the majority of those do it more than one. They're doing strings, they're doing sports, they're doing arts, they're on the stage. That's what makes Bexley really special, really proud of all of the things that we're able. And again, you can see all that in the flyers that we've got. I am going to focus tonight really high level, and I'm going to talk about the facilities process. You're not going to get all of the information. I'm not going to get into the weeds as much because I'm going to stick to that time limit that we were given. But you can reach out to me anytime. You can find me on the website. I will meet with you. I will speak with you. Our board is accessible. We want to make sure that you have access to what's happening. But I think this is a really exciting time. And it is not lost on me that the successes of Bexley is a result of those who came before us. And we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us and made really hard, challenging decisions that allow us to be successful like you've seen on the screen. And I think now it's our time to make some really powerful, hard decisions to make sure that we're planning for the next 100 years and making those decisions for the next several generations that are coming through. So as Joanne mentioned, the why now. So 4 years ago, we led with that strategic plan. It was community driven. In that process, the community said, you must do something about the facilities. On average, they're 84 years old. And they were not designed for today's learners. They were not designed for the learners of tomorrow. I love, as you opened up, this used to be a gym, and I think I heard you say it was tiny and cramped, and it wasn't meeting the needs of your community. And so now look at it. You had the opportunity to work as a community and find out what it could be. And so that's where we're at in this moment. We are the only school in Central Ohio that has not gone through a major renovation in the last 25 years. And so I'm a big believer that our time is now. And I want to talk a little bit about what I mean by that. So through our really heavily driven community process, we have gone through several meetings. And we started with community meetings, then they went to building meetings, then they went to facilities meetings, then they went to finance meetings. And through that, we have a group called the FAC. It's a combined facilities group with a finance council. And they help take all of the community-driven information, lots of it. You can go on our website right now. You can, if you click on our facilities page, every survey response, every minute of the meeting, every recording, you can see everything if you want to go back and catch up to anything that's been missed. But we did those things, and our combined FAC then came forward, and maybe 3 months ago, they came to a board meeting, and they said, here's what we think the board should consider. So we took all of that information, as you heard Joanne say last night, I took that information and I made a final recommendation for the Board of Education Monday night. So what you see on the board is the recommendation that the board has in front of them. We're looking at a new middle school, 5 years of facilities and capital expenditures, some stadium improvements, and we'll talk about each of these, and turf at Maryland and Montrose for a total of approximately $115 million. So that's an important piece. That recommendation has gone to the board. The board will likely take action on that at the next meeting, which is scheduled March 11th. So I'm going to talk about each one of these. I'm going to break it down. I'm not going to go into the weeds on everything. I am happy to go through that with you at any time. So the middle school, which is 71% of our project, this is the project. This is the most important part of the project. We believe that a new middle school needs to be built. I want to state right out of the gates that through those several meetings, close to 50 meetings, the community considered a lot of things. And I'll talk about some of those things throughout the evening. For the next 2 hours is, I think, my time limit. Well, one of the things that they said is we believe you need a standalone middle school. So that standalone middle school is being recommended to be built currently where the Cassingham softball field is, where that turf space is. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but I want to make sure you understand when we say building a new middle school. So right now, why a new middle school? That building was not designed for the learners of today and tomorrow. It was designed at a different era. Our STEM and our maker spaces that we have, our hands-on, our flexible, adaptable spaces, if you've ever been in our building, you know that that takes place in our hallways. We don't have collaborative spaces in our buildings. None of them. We're talking about the middle school. It doesn't either. And if you've been in our space or you talk to an educator, that's where we create maker space. Our STEM occurs in a hallway. That is not age appropriate. That is not what we believe is best practice. Capacity. We're at capacity in a lot of areas. I'll give you a couple examples. One of them being we have some overcrowding in some of our classrooms, and we have teachers on carts. I bet a lot of folks don't know that we've got traveling teachers teaching science on a cart. So they're going into a classroom that's probably not designed for science. That's not best practice. If we move that middle school and build it on that softball field, we then have the ability to move inward. So our high school can start moving inward and our Cassingham Elementary can start moving inward. That allows us to free up some of those congested areas. It also gives us access to natural light. I believe 27 of our classrooms right now in the Cassingham complex do not have access to natural light. Studies will show and tell us that access to natural light is research-based, that learning increases when you have access to natural light. The well-being of children increases. Their attendance in school increases. So we want to get access. So by moving the middle school, obviously the middle school would have a focus on natural light, and then we're able to move our Cassingham Elementary and our high school folks into classrooms that are natural light and get them out of the inside interior classrooms. We're going to have its own standalone gym, its own standalone cafeteria. We're going to have enhanced safety and accessibility areas. When it was built 90 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, those codes are not up to the standard of our standards. So that's another important piece that we want to enhance our safety and accessibility. And we just believe, well, we know it's more efficient to build a new middle school versus trying to renovate what we currently have that's above the ceilings, below the floors, and behind the walls. So here's a great example of our reality. So I talked about overcrowding. For those that are familiar with our district, how many have had children go through Bexley schools? Perfect. This isn't new. This has been happening. Our kindergarten students eat alongside our seniors every day. That is not best practice. That is not age appropriate. And I love our students. They're the best. Oh, I forgot. Let's give it up for our amazing performance. I asked you who had a child performing, but they were unbelievable. That is another part of what makes us really special. But this is our reality. Our students are amazing. And I want to do top left. You see the young man in the green hoodie jacket, the older student. He's a sophomore. Unbelievable, great kid. The young man sitting to his right is in the gray hooded sweatshirt. He's a kindergartner. I don't care how great of a human being you are. Developmentally, those conversations are not appropriate to be happening around our kindergartners. That is our reality every single day. And I'm thankful that we have great kids that are aware and love up our young people, but that's not what we want. We have other older upperclassmen that say, I don't want to eat with the little kids. I don't want that for me. So what do? We give them some freedom, and they get to eat in other spaces. They're choosing to eat on our floors. And we have incredible maintenance and custodial teams, but it is not appropriate for us to be eating on our floors. And that's why this middle school is critical for us, and one example for us to try and make some decisions as to what we're doing in terms of the day-to-day operations of our buildings that have served us beautifully. They've done their job, but now it's time to take a look at what's possible. So here I want to show you, these are possibilities. Nothing you're going to see here tonight is official or final. We can't design a middle school without your help. And it is not fiscally responsible as a superintendent or as a board to go through a design process in this moment. A design process costs about 9% of the overall cost, so the $115 million. That comes out to about $10 million is the price tag that's going to take for us to design what it is that we want. It would not be fiscally responsible for me to say we need to design now, because if voters say no in November, we don't get that money back. So we're fiscally attacking this, that this is how all districts approach this. But it's important for you to understand that you will be part of that design. So I asked our friends at Perkins of the Will, the architects we've been working with, what's possible? Because we've talked about play space. By putting a middle school on the playground, we acknowledge we are reducing the footprint of the play space at Cassingham Elementary and in Central Bexley. We don't love that. But we know that we are landlocked. This is my fun fact, we are the most densely populated school district in the state of Ohio. And so that comes at a cost. And the cost is we are struggling to find some real estate. So we're trying to be as creative as possible. So we asked our architect, to the best of your ability, can you give us a possible rendering? What might it look like so that we can maximize as much of the green space as possible? We also have great faith, and we appreciate our mayor. We have a great partnership with our mayor. We have a commitment together in this partnership to make sure that we continue to process ways, how do we maximize the green space? Right there on the top right corner, that's just a rendering. That shows you what the configuration of a building might look like as we try and support these things. We have considered, in the community-driven process, I have people calling all the time. All of these things were decided by our community 2 years ago. We're in 2.5 years into this. You should build up on your current building, on the middle school, build up. We did a study. Corda helped us. They told us it is not advisable to build up. There's one section on the building at the very front of the building that you might be able to structurally build up. Secondly, financially, they advise against it. So we considered that. We've had a couple people in the last couple of weeks say you should put our kids in pods and renovate your building while they're in pods. One of the main reasons when I talked about efficiency of moving that middle school over there, it will take us 2 years to build a middle school. If we renovate while our students are learning, it will take up to 5 to 6 years. We do not, the community said, we do not want that type of disruption for that length of time. So pods, we talked about it as a community. The community said that is not what we're interested in. We looked at Capital University. We looked at purchasing. They have a space. We've talked to, before Dr. Tice and since Dr. Tice, we talked about what's possible on Cassingham. Our community discussed that. That was not something we were interested in. We looked at a K1, a 2-3, and a 3-5 building, getting rid of the walkable buildings. And our community said, absolutely not, that is sacred to us. And so this is how we got to the spaces that we're at. That's why we're now saying we're building on that softball field, because the community drove us to those things. But we do want to know that we are working as hard as we can to try and maximize. Here's another configuration. This isn't final. It's just showing you what's possible. My favorite one, the third one, you see a little green space on the top. That's a third floor there over the gym potentially. It's not designed, it's not final. But that shows we are processing. What can we do to try and find additional play space, perhaps a learning garden, more flexible academic areas for our students. But we won't know until we go through that process if voted upon in November. I'm going to start moving a little quicker because I know Ben's got that clock going. So capital expenditures, this is 21% of the project. These are the things that are above the ceiling, below the floors, behind the walls. Our maintenance and custodial teams are world class, and it looks great when you walk into our buildings, but our things are aging, and it costs money. So these would be things outside of the typical scope of our general fund. And so you can see on the screen, that's your HVAC, your roofing, windows, and safety, and those sorts of things. That gives you an idea of what we're talking about. Turf, I'm going to talk quickly. Why turf? This is something I'm sure as a community member you've heard some conversations around. Turf solves a major problem for us. And the major problem that we have, which is why the recommendation is turf, is access. And access is something that we believe strongly that our students must have. I'm talking access for our students at Maryland and Montrose. Today's a great example. I was at Montrose today. Our students at Montrose are blacktop only for recess on a day where it's muddy and wet. And if you drive to Cassingham, our students are rolling around on the turf that's been at Cassingham for 20 years. So we believe, number one, our committee, the facts said, equitably, we believe is an equity issue. You have to turf Maryland and Montrose, and we agree. That way, all kids, all community members have access to the turf on days where it's mucky. The second piece is really important as well. We have 770 student athletes. 770 of our students play a sport. And that space on Cassingham, where that softball field is, which we agree, we have to maximize that space. That's where they spend a lot of time. And our band. You've seen our band marching out there. We believe we have to find new locations for them to practice, which is Maryland and Montrose, which is why we believe the essential problem we're trying to solve is access. If we do not turf those spaces, they will lose the standard of practice and competition that they're experiencing right now. It will be reduced. So that is why we believe turf solves our problem on access. We are committed. We hear the concerns. We take them seriously. We are committed if we go with turf using the highest quality of materials to make sure that our students are safe and their needs are met, and our staff and our community. The stadium. Raise your hand, maybe there's not a lot, if you've ever been underneath our stadium in the locker rooms of our stadium. Hands high. Keep your hands high if you have great pride when you walk in that space. Yes. And I don't even mean pride. We don't do things for pride. We do them for efficiency. It's got to be updated. We don't have girls' locker rooms at that stadium. That's not appropriate. So we believe that's the centerpiece of our community. We will always keep our stadium at the centerpiece of Bexley. That's important because you've heard of property at Cassidy Avenue. We've purchased Cassidy Avenue property. We're going to develop a lot of things there. Our plan is not to move the main varsity field. That's where we graduate. That's where we experience our Friday nights. There's a lot of things happening there. That space at Cassidy allows us to eliminate some of that chaos that we've got in terms of excess use. But we wanted to make sure that folks understood that. We're going to make sure that it's structurally sound, structurally safe, that the space is there, and it sets us up for the next phase in case we're trying to make some enhancements and expansion. So Kyle Smith, the greatest treasurer ever, he was here earlier. He had to step out. He filmed an Oscar-worthy video for us to watch to explain the really important piece of this, and that is the support of the community. And so I'm going to hit play. I think it's going to work. This is our treasurer, Kyle Smith, talking about how we are looking to potentially fund this, and I'll explain how this is not final when we're done.
Hi, I'm Kyle Smith, treasurer for Bexley Schools. I want to start by saying that no final funding decisions have been made for our recommended Phase 1 facility upgrades. One option currently under consideration is a hybrid approach that combines a property tax levy with an income tax levy. The scenario recommended by our combined Facility and Finance Committee was a 2 mil property tax along with a 0.5% income tax, generating approximately $115 million. This approach would balance the responsibility between property owners and income earners. It helps distribute the overall tax burden more broadly across the community while providing flexibility for the district. To put that in perspective, for every $100,000 in modified adjusted gross income, a 0.5% income tax would equal about $500 per year. For every $100,000 in home market value, a 2 mil property tax would equal about $70 per year. It's also important to note that the district's current 2.05 mil bond will expire in 2027. This will help offset some of that property tax impact. We will continue to share information as discussions move forward. Thank you.
Yeah, Kyle. So Kyle is a superstar. What I want to make sure you understand is that nothing is finalized. Those are preliminary numbers. Our finance council continues to meet. The Board of Education will have updated numbers as we move forward. You can always reach out to Kyle Smith if you need anything, or to me, and we'll make sure we get you in contact. 2 more slides. This is the timeline. This has been something that's been really important for us to make sure that we understand what this looks like if we were able to move forward. So right now, we're over here, probably where Jess Sod is. And as we go into the summer, that's when we would start taking a look to start securing an architect and a construction manager. We don't pay them unless there's an approval in November. So they take that job knowing that that's the scenario. But we do that so that if there is approval at the November election, and again, we don't have final numbers of what that would be, we immediately, as soon as that, if approved, we would start focus groups that you would all be a part of. We would want you to be a part of, students and staff, alumni, our community would be invited. That's going to help us process what's sacred. What do we need? What do we see? What do we envision? We then take all of that information, we do a 1-year process of design that you are a part of, that we are a part of, our students, our staff, our community. And after that 1-year process, we bid the project. Our goal would be, if with a November approval, would be to break ground in the summer of 2028 and a grand opening of a new middle school in the fall of 2030. So that we think is an important timeline so that folks understand what we're talking about. If we were to renovate the current middle school, that grand opening would be off that chart because it takes much longer to renovate while you are in session and it disrupts the learning greater. So my last slide, I apologize for being lengthy. I'm passionate about this stuff. It's important. And I want you to call anytime. That is a QR code to get access to our district newsletter. If you do not have access to our district newsletter, Carol Taylor is behind here. She is world class. She creates our newsletters that are really informative. So if you've not seen those, you can go onto our website. I'll end with this. It's an absolute honor to live and serve in this district. And I think tonight's a great reason of why. So some of you have heard the story. I moved here 5 years ago. I moved my family oh, there's Carol. Wow, Carol's quick. I moved my family here 5 years ago, and I had an incoming freshman at the time, and she's probably, it is recording. She's not our easiest of our kids. We love her equally, but we sat her down and we said, we're moving to Bexley. And she said, I'll do whatever. Yep, I wish you weren't moving me, but we'll do it. She graduated last year. I had the opportunity of handing her diploma across the stage. It's the most powerful moment for us as a family. She will tell you today, moving to Bexley is the greatest thing that ever happened to our family. She doesn't say it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me, to her, which most 18, 19-year-olds think about themselves. She says the best thing that happened to our family. I couldn't agree more because of what you have here tonight. I'm thankful for the partnerships that we have. I really appreciate your trust in us and kind of taking care of our children. So a huge thank you. We appreciate you. And now we have 10 minutes left in the evening. I want to say that we are strong as a school district because the city is strong. And I believe that the city is strong because the schools are strong. And that's something that sets us apart and makes us really unique. And I'm thankful to have a leader of the city that is constantly, we're probably on the phone every other day, and we're processing ways to be better. And so a huge thank you. Let's give a round of applause to the mayor, the legend, Ben Kessler.
In Bexley, we're building community, one project and one program at a time.
Bexley is deeply rooted, rich with tradition, and shaped by generations who knew that community doesn't just happen. It's built, carefully, intentionally, together. In a city that's fully built out but never finished, building community doesn't always mean starting from scratch. More often, it means strengthening what we have, investing wisely, turning long-term plans into visible, lasting results. 2025 was a year we moved from plans to progress. We broke ground on the long-awaited pedestrian and cyclist bridge and on the new skate park at Schneider, projects that connect neighbors and generations. We advanced design on a permanent senior center, a space dedicated to belonging and lifelong engagement. We unified planning for Commonwealth Park, and we expanded public art and placemaking across our community. These aren't isolated projects. They're generational investments in connection, inclusion, and shared spaces. And at the same time, we strengthened our fundamentals. We installed publicly accessible AEDs, and our police department moved closer to CALIA accreditation. Through Slow Down Bexley, we prioritized safety on our streets. Behind the scenes, we replaced water lines, added sidewalks, planted trees, and paved roads. Work that rarely makes headlines, but sustains the quality of life that we value every day. Financially, Bexley remains disciplined, stable, and forward-looking. To plan for the future, we're making investments into infrastructure and sustainability, including most recently, solar carports at the police station. Nearly every major project leverages outside funding, partnerships, and regional collaboration, stretching local dollars further and multiplying their impact. Because building community requires stewardship as much as vision, and responsibility as much as imagination. Community doesn't happen by accident. It's designed, it's funded, it's maintained, most importantly, it's nurtured. In 2025, we built carefully, responsibly, and with an eye toward the next generation. And tonight, we celebrate that progress and the work still ahead, knowing that what we build today shapes who we become tomorrow.
Many people have been recognized this evening. I'm going to add to the list a little bit. We have a delegation from the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission joining us today. From the Franklin County Engineer's Office, our City Attorney, Mark Fischel, the legendary Jim Lauer of St. Charles is with us. We have police command staff here. We have principals. Of course, we've mentioned Dr. Tice. We've got the Media Foundation, the Education Foundation, and most importantly, we have Hudson Sod and Sal Kessler, our youngest attendees, soldiering through. My neighbor Mallory's here. Hey, Mallory. And you guys are the special sauce. Thank you for being here today. So last summer, I was working the cookout trailer at Schneider Park. It was hot. It was a midday cookout. Sun was blazing down. I just took a beat. We have some umbrellas there in the cookout trailer, stood under the umbrellas. And I looked around. And I just took a moment to take in the kids playing at the splash pad, the community gardeners, I don't know, trading plants or whatever. I'm a community gardener. Sometimes I trade plants. Kids playing in athletic fields, residents hanging out in the picnic shelter. I looked at the life around me, and I was literally just overcome. Because after years of planning, spreadsheets, budgets, easement agreements, dealing with people who didn't think we should ever improve Schneider Park because it was a bad investment, what I saw in front of me was community come to life. Years ago, these were just plans on paper. But in that moment, I wasn't looking at a capital improvement plan. I was watching community literally happen in front of my eyes. That, my friends, is the state of our community. Tonight, I want to talk about how we got there, the work's still underway, and how we continue to build a Bexley where moments like that aren't accidental. They're intentional. Bexley's fully built out. You just heard our superintendent talk about it. 2.5 beautiful square miles of our little island. We don't have any empty land waiting for us. There's not a land machine, unless you have one, Dr. Fine. Everything that we do now, it requires intention. When we replace a water line or we pass a housing framework or install an AED or launch a story slam, we're not just managing a city. We're shaping the experience of living here. We are building community. And community, it's coming together. It's sharing stories and nurturing empathy. It's building relationships. It's investing in public spaces. It's lending a helping hand. Community is providing a safety net, crafting new homes for future neighbors from all walks of life, and not being afraid to carefully innovate. This doesn't happen by accident. We build community based on consensus-built plans that we come at together. And this year, we're in the third year of executing our most recent strategic plan. We have 65 objectives that we're working from, and we're making great progress. One of the most important pieces of that plan, though, is to keep planning. Plans don't sit on a shelf. Joanne just said it, and they don't with us. So we have a framework for careful strategic planning that continues as we continue to work on the projects of tomorrow. Last year, Council adopted the revised Land Use Strategy 2.0. I want to talk a little bit about what's in it. It talks about targeted spaces on Main Street for redevelopment. It talks about bolstering North Cassidy with more pedestrian-friendly streetscape, bike-friendly streetscape, and more of a neighborhood feel. It talks about laying the groundwork for the really bold ambitions of the Livingston Avenue plan. And it talks about so much more. You're free to visit on our website. I could talk about it for 10 more minutes if you want. But we're currently in the process of updating our Main Street design guidelines, and we're pushing them further to North Cassidy and Livingston, knowing that those common public spaces are what define our community in part. And this year, we'll be launching a public art and placemaking planning effort. We'll be bringing a sustainability action plan to council for adoption after many years of development with Green Bexley. And while plans set the stage for future investment and innovation, you took the thunder out of what I was going to say, Jason. We never take the eye off of our core functions. Functions like clearing the snow during a snowpocalypse, bringing safe drinking water to your home, keeping the sewers flowing. Yeah, that's a real thing we're doing right now, by the way. Maintaining safe, smooth streets, efficient recycling, food waste, and trash pickup, and most critically, keeping our neighborhoods safe. Through programs like Slow Down Bexley, a great new program we brought to the community. It benchmarks speed in our concerned areas, raises awareness to our drivers and our neighbors, and it provides us the data that we need to make strategic improvements to our infrastructure to slow down our traffic. Through the CLIA accreditation we talked about, it's the gold standard for law enforcement accreditation, and we're going for the top accreditation, right, Chief? And thanks to significant funding through Congress, I don't know if you've heard about this, but we are launching a synagogue auxiliary officer program with each synagogue. We have 1 year of funding for this. It will also provide additional security measures for our synagogues. That's a $650,000 federal grant. We're also rolling out training requirements for the youth on our e-bikes. Oh, there it is. And providing some training for those kids so they can think a little bit more about safe riding habits and skills on our streets. Beyond all this, some of the hardest work occurs behind the scenes. Yeah, that's what it looks like at City Hall. With projects like our investments in cybersecurity, commissioning next-level audits to continue to improve our financial best practices, and we remain focused on innovation that enhances the quality of life for our residents. Innovation like the council created, hold on, it's a mouthful, Water System Malfunction Grant Program. We're still working on the title, but it'll help residents under hardship who have plumbing fixtures that have been leaking water and have really high water bills. We're also launching in the coming weeks AquaHawk. They'll help all of us monitor our water consumption to be better consumers of water, but also to know when we do have problems with our system. And with new regulations around galvanized water lines, we've created a loan program that leverages property tax assessments to help you afford replacement of water lines that might be impacted by lead. We've increased staff resources for code enforcement to provide quality wraparound code enforcement services. That's from Texas, that's not us, don't worry. And after many years of planning, we've posted a social services coordinator position. It's really exciting what the library is doing. This is a position that'll help provide support to our police department, code enforcement, and other functions in our government, and connect residents with desperately needed resources with wraparound support. These high-quality, high-touch services provided by our city, they don't get provided in a vacuum. Oh, that's a good one. We rely on partnerships, like Dr. Fine was saying, not just in the region, but particularly locally. And no partnership, sorry, Ben, no partnership is more important than the partnership that we have with our school district. We know that a strong school district means a strong community. I swear you went first, it's not fair. And I want to focus on a second. You just heard the school's plans for an updated facilities plan. And I want to tell you, we believe firmly that we have to continue to invest in our students and the future of our community. I know that there has been conversation, as Dr. Vine mentioned, about access to green space. I'm here to tell you, The city of Bexley has expanded green space for the first time since 1941 in the past 5 years with the expansion of Schneider Park, with, believe it or not, Commonwealth Park brought another acre of green space to the community. And we're committed to continuing to work with the school district because we're interdependent. You know, we use their athletic fields, they use our athletic fields. We program rec programs in the gym. We are very much intertwined in the future of this gorgeous 2.5 square mile community that is ours. And right here we see a young kid with a turtle with the Schneider Park athletic fields in the background. We never would have believed that we could have created that new space in our community until we did it. And we know that there are more opportunities to come. In building together, we're going to continue to grow. Grow into 150 kilowatts of solar capacity at our police station. That's half of the electricity need of our police department, and it's a pretty big building. Growing into a bridge that will connect Schneider to the Alum Creek Greenways Trail. The super cool skate park, you've seen that. It'll provide new active space for our youth and our young at heart. A new senior center that will have double the space of the senior center that was at 420 North Cassidy. An outdoor reading room in partnership with the Bexley Public Library and Tirada Met. Lights at our beloved pickleball courts are coming this spring. A new playground at Jeffrey Park. It's not going to look like this. It'll look like what you want it to look like because we will have community workshopping. Although I think that's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Throwing it out there. A beautiful interactive esplanade through the center of Commonwealth Park. It's going to be a great space. Maybe that's where our State of the Community is next year. And we're going to continue to plan major projects such as the Livingston Avenue Infrastructure Project. Also, there's going to be a lot of work going on in the next year or two and more with the property at Ferndale Mayfield behind Livingston Avenue on top of a former landfill, where we will bring restorative and amazing development practices to that area. I believe in that. We'll be bringing transformative transit investments to our community through Link Us and others. Traffic calming with bike and pedestrian safety infrastructure. And with all of these projects, we're being really careful stewards of our community's financial resources. I was putting together some of the partners that we've been working on. Well, all these great pictures you've seen and the projects I've talked about, they leverage outside funding to a really large degree, almost every single one of them. The Bexley Community Foundation is a huge partner in that effort. Give them a round of applause. But they're joined by the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, the State of Ohio Capital Fund, U.S. Congress, and the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. And combined, the projects I've talked about tonight, we are actively working on, either shovels to the ground or engineering, over $17.7 million of grant funding to our city. That's a huge dollar figure. That's almost our entire general fund budget for the year. Let's clap about that too. That's good. Thanks. So that's a historic amount of grant funding for our community. It's made possible because we have a city council and an administration. We don't always agree on everything, but we pull together as a team. And I truly believe it's because the hearts of our elected officials, from the school board to our city council to your auditor, your mayor, we are here for you. We're here for the city. We're here to pull in the same direction. You know, when I stood out at that cookout trailer at Schneider Park last summer and I looked out at the splash pad in the gardens and the fields, I knew this to be true. That moment was not accidental. It was the result of years of planning and hard work and hard conversation. It was partnership. It was all coming to life. And that's what building community looks like. In a fully built out city like ours, nothing happens by default. Every water line that's replaced, every housing framework that's passed, every tree that's planted, every bridge, every playground, every senior center built, it all requires very careful intention. It's installing solar panels and water lines and creating splash pads in senior centers, updating design guidelines. It's snow plows at 4 a.m. and skate parks at 4 p.m. It's financial audits, cybersecurity grants, and other grant writing so that we can responsibly invest in transformative projects for our community. And it's backed up by an amazing team of elected officials and professionals in our staff and board and commission members. If you serve on a Bexley board or commission or on city council or city staff, please stand up and be recognized. Stand up. Come on, guys. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Over the years, we've continued to strengthen our core services. We've planned carefully. We've continued to invest in places where belonging happens. The state of our community is strong, not because the work is finished, but because we're committed to continuing to do it together. If we keep showing up for one another, day in and day out, the moments that I saw at Schneider Park, that will never be special occasions. They will continue to be everyday life in Bexley. And that's the kind of community worth continuing to build. Thank you.